Oh, Bizarre Creations. Dearly missed, much loved Bizarre Creations. What a shame that your last game had to be a somewhat forgettable Uncharted-alike. I've been in a bit of a Bond mood since No Time to Die, and I've been filling in the gaps in my Bond media consumption. It occurred to me that I never did play Bloodstone back in the day, and as a massive fan of Bizarre Creations racing games, and their one shooting game, I felt like I really should get around to it. Before we go anywhere though, I just want to make it clear that this is a good game. Just in case you hear me rattling into it later in this video and think I'm being a bit harsh, I thought it'd be good just to say up front that Bloodstone is technically accomplished, good fun, and a worthwhile Bond experience. The problem is, just like all those so-called AAA experiences from its contemporaries that are still plaguing the market today, it's quite forgettable. Like many games of the era and since, you're slickly shuffled from one incredible set piece to another, from shootout to sneaky bit to car chase to jumpy bit. It's all so slick and smooth and enjoyable at the time, but afterwards, if someone was to ask you what happened through the game, you'd be a bit lost for words. The shooting is good, by the way. You'll spend most of the game doing it, so that's quite important. Well done, Bizarre. Yes, there's a lot of standard waist-high cover shooting going on, but there is a uniquely Bond twist that just about elevates Bloodstone to a higher level than most. Pressing square instantly takes down a baddie with one of Craig-era Bond's signature CQC techniques. Big Boss would be proud. Each time you use CQC you get a free headshot, and you can stack up to 3. It's a nice little risk-reward setup where you put yourself in harm's way to knock a few lights out, then quickly let off a few headshots to clear the lurkers waiting to snipe your ass off. Did you see Quantum of Solace? That unfairly disliked Bond film that was all action all the time? It's a little like that. And when Bloodstone works well, it feels less like you're in control of Bond and more just trying to make the best environment to let Craig-era Bond be Craig-era Bond, brutally making his way through crowds of baddies just like Quantum of Solace. Like Quantum though, you'd be hard-pressed to say exactly what the hell was happening most of the time, at least after one playthrough. Where Bloodstone excels is in its driving. No surprise really, Bizarre were the kings of heavy, meaty arcade racing games. There are a few times where Bond jumps into a very conveniently placed Aston Martin for some brilliant high-speed chases through city streets. The best chase of them all though is this one through the streets of Bangkok, which is so ridiculous it feels more like Pierce Brosnan tearing up the streets in a Russian tank. I love it. There was some criticism back in the day that the driving sections have a lot of exciting things happening around you, but not much happening to you. I don't really agree with that. They're very engaging and rely on a bit of skill to get through, but aren't frustratingly difficult. They're a bit like Stuntman on PS2, but more forgiving and without the director screaming in your ear. What lets the game down is a sense that the project was falling apart a bit. It's hard to tell if this was down to working with the Bond licence, or maybe if Bizarre Creations knew the writing was on the wall. Basically, the last third of the game is incoherent, a bit rough around the edges and a bit rushed, with a plot twist that comes out of nowhere and a villain that makes Dominic Green look like Blofeld. Who's Dominic Green? Exactly.
Bond, help me.
What starts off as a sumptuously polished game, despite Judi Dench's slightly odd-looking face, ends up as a drab, disappointing trek through a jungle. There is one final car chase, but by that point I didn't really care that much. It's a shame because there's so much Bondian brilliance up to that point, with the sort of luxurious globe-trotting locations that make Bond films such great escapist entertainment. Overall, I'm glad that I finally filled in this missing row in my Bond and Bizarre Creations lists. A wee two-for-oneer. I can't help but feel a bit sad about the whole thing though. There was clearly a real attempt to ape the films here, but the resulting game is so similar to other games of the era that it just gets lost. And despite those brilliant car chases, it never really becomes anything special.